European Union leaders are meeting for a final day of talks in Brussels in a bid to determine the regional bloc's direction and priorities for the coming 5 years.
It comes just hours after they failed to agree on successors for the bloc's top leaders, including the European Council President, the EU Commission President and the head of the European Central Bank.
A new summit will now be convened on June the 30th to deal with the issue of finding those new leaders. Our correspondent Oliver Miocic joins us now from Brussels for more on this. Oliver, what's on the agenda for the final day of talks then?
So these final day of talks have just ended. On the agenda was financial things to do with the European Union, the European Monetary Union, the European Banking Union, all those things. There's more work that needs to be done, as well as setting a budget for the Eurozone. But right at the end of the press conference given by the President of the European Council and the Commission, Brexit came up. Now, this conference was never ever meant to be all about Brexit. It was only meant to take a very, very short amount of time of it. And it was short indeed. 12 minutes worth of discussion was given up to Brexit. And in the update that we just received was the message that the European Union will not reopen the withdrawal agreement for discussion, for renegotiation. Now that is key because the two remaining candidates to be the next UK Prime Minister both say that they would like to come back here to Brussels to reopen that withdrawal agreement, to try and get a better deal, to readjust some things such as the backstop for the Irish border. But the message from Brussels here, loud and clear, as it has been for very many months now, there will be no reopening of the withdrawal agreement.
Oliver, so back to this issue of those top jobs. That's been shelved for now, but how is the EU's business going to proceed before those issues are resolved?
So the appointments that were made 5 years ago, most of them do not run out until October or November. So there is still some time, but there is this key hope that they will reach some consensus by this next emergency summit, which is being held next Sunday on the 30th of June, because the European Parliament will sit for the first time 2 days later. Now, the European Parliament needs to have a European Parliament president. That, of course, needs to be approved because it's a two-step process here where the Council puts forward the nominations and then the Parliament votes on them. So, really, they do need to have somebody in place by then, but as I say, for the remaining 4 posts, there is still a little bit of time. There's a lot of negotiating to be done between the leaders of these EU nations because they've got such conflicting views about who should get these key roles. And of course, there's this EU demand that there is gender balance, that there is balance according to which EU nations get the roles, whether that be from North Europe, South Europe, Eastern Europe. There's got to be a wide spread of roles so that it can be seen that it's truly representative of the European Union. No easy task considering how polarised the views are on just exactly who should be given these top roles.
Well, we'll see whether they can get some consensus on that issue. Oliver, thank you very much for that. Oliver Miocic there reporting for us from Brussels.